there's a moment leading up to the draft where I saw something and I didn't say it. I was a little bit afraid that if I came out and said it, I was going to get a lot of hate and be embarrassed. People were going to get really mad at me if I said it, and I should have said it anyway. And then you came out and you said it, and I was like, dang it, I should have said that. You talked about Jalen Hurts and Justin Herbert. I watched the film. Justin Herbert really alarms me. And I think Jalen Hurts never got enough credit for the good plays he made. And I think a lot of people struggled to change their opinion of Jalen Hurts from Alabama to his final year at Oklahoma. Point blank, if you had to pick a guy, Jalen Hurts or Justin Herbert, picking at that spot where the Chargers did, who would you have taken?
Oh, like at 6th overall?
Yeah.
Oh, Jalen. Like I wasn't even big on Jalen Hurts being a top 10 guy. Like I thought he was going to be a first round pick.
Yeah.
He ended up being a second round pick, which a lot of people even then thought that was too high. And I was like, oh no, you don't understand. Like this dude's good. Like I would have taken him in the first round. I wouldn't have taken him top 10, but it's not like it would have been egregious.
Well, if he lands, right? Whether he's 6 or 17.
Yeah, and I felt like Hurts had a better chance of paying off the 6th pick than Herbert did. So if I was given a choice, like my ideal scenario was you take Isaiah Simmons at 6 and then you get Jalen Hurts at the top of the second. But if just given a choice between Hurts and Herbert, I'm taking Hurts 10 times out of 10.
That's awesome. That's really affirming what I watched on film. You had a line too, I believe. You did this incredible video. I watched it after the draft. I couldn't bring myself to watch it before. I was just, my ego got in the way. But you did this incredible video where you kind of did like a long 2-hour predictions video. Like you had whiskey and you're drinking the whole time. And you said a line about Jalen Hurts that I loved so much where you said that people paid attention to his 2 or 3 bad throws and really like clung onto those really tightly and judged him for his bad throws and ignored his good. Whereas the opposite happened with Justin Herbert where people really clung on to his like 3 good throws and then ignored all his bad, the other like 29 other throws of the game. Is that, you still feel that way? Is that what, am I quoting you correctly?
Yeah, and it's the same kind of thing where it's like people see him roll out to the right and hit this deep cross with this beautiful cannon for a throw that is right on the boundary, and you're like, oh my God, that's amazing. And I agree, that is amazing. But then on the next series, he'll throw an interception on smash snag against cover 2, which should never, ever, 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 ever happen.
Yeah. Or he'll just throw like a 5-yard hitch out of bounds. And you're like, what the hell is that?
Oh my God. Or he'll throw his receivers into a big hit against Ashton Davis over and over and over again. And it's just people. Okay, here's a stat for you that I somehow remembered after all these months. So the highest percentage of screens ever thrown in the NFL history was last year by Kyler Murray at 18%. Justin Herbert had less than a 70% completion percentage, despite throwing screens 25% of the time.
Oh my gosh.
Do you know how unbelievably bad that is? People say, oh, he had like a 67% or whatever it was completion percentage.
No, adjust it.
I was like, 25% of his throws were screens, and it's only 60. What are you talking about? That is so bad.
Yeah, it's rough.
So bad.
I'm actually in Portland, Oregon. I get a lot of anger from people on the street, and it's like, well, look, I don't hate Justin Herbert. I've heard he's a really nice kid. I've nothing against him. I'm rooting for him. I don't know that he's going to work in the NFL, and I feel bad for like Chargers fans. Do you feel bad for San Diego? For like, now they're LA. It's so weird to me. I still can't. It's like what years now, and I still call them San Diego. Do you feel bad for the Chargers? How do you feel about the direction they're going in now that they have Herbert?
On some level, I know that there were people in that building that were not down with this pick, but I think they felt backed into a wall. It's a new stadium. They got to sell tickets. Phil's gone. Taylor, as much as people like him as like, the veteran backup journeyman that everybody would love to have on the roster, he's not going to sell tickets.
No.
They were going to spend the 6th overall pick on a quarterback. They were hoping to God that Tua fell. He didn't. I think they felt backed into a corner, and I think that on some level they felt like a Herbert pick was more appetizing than a Hurts pick. I vehemently disagree with that, and I think there's probably people in the building that did too. But I think they felt backed into a corner. I think they felt they had to make that pick to generate excitement for the franchise. I hope it works out. I hope that he's another one of those guys that rapidly develops at a pace that nobody could see coming, like Deshaun, like Lamar, like obviously Pat Mahomes. But the likelihood of him developing like that when he started for 4 years at Oregon and we never saw that kind of development, it's extremely low. You hope for the best, but I'm not expecting the best.
That's why is it that LA seems to often have politics interfere with their football decisions? Seems like it happens a lot in LA with both the Rams and the Chargers.
Because we have a lot of options for entertainment down here in Southern California.
Yeah.
You have to make splash moves. You have to bring in LeBron to the Lakers. You have to bring in Dwight Howard. You have to trade for Kobe. You have to recruit the best stars to make any waves at USC or UCLA. You have to win the Stanley Cup to even be on the radar as the Kings. You have to win the MLS Cup to be on the radar as the Galaxy. The Dodgers made the World Series, and they're probably the only sports team that could even come close to taking the spotlight a little bit from basketball. But even then, if they're not going to the World Series, like people in LA, unless they're hardcore Dodger fans, are not really paying attention to baseball.
Yeah, there's a lot of distractions.
It's a basketball town.
Yeah,
it's a basketball town, and even then, it's a fair weather basketball town. Especially when you look at the Clippers, just because there's a lot of entertainment options here. If the Lakers are bad, trust me, like I used to work at Sportsnet doing Laker highlights every single game. When the Lakers were bad, the ratings weren't that good, and that's the freaking Lakers. So you have to make splash moves in the LA market just to get people to pay attention to you, let alone be committed to watching you.